Citi 97.3. Accra. Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Akosua, Otchere.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, you remember the murder of NPP's Upper East Regional Chairman, Adams Mahama? Well, after years, one of the persons standing trial in that case has been sentenced to death. Meanwhile, Gregory Afoko, who was also standing trial, would have to be retried after the jury failed to return a verdict. Also coming up, President Akosua writes to the Al Jazeera network demanding a retraction and an apology after his name was mentioned in the documentary that was produced by that company on gold. And later on Eyewitness News, we'll tell you about the pensioner bondholders. They're going back on the streets to demonstrate. We'll tell you why. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories. There would also be business.
Cocoa Board refutes claims of collapsing cocoa sector by former President John Dramani Mahama.
That's Michael Ogbodu from the City Business Desk. He'll be back in 15 minutes with details of what's happening in the world of business. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, we are live on citynewsroom.com. The show is interactive. Do join us with your messages on 0549 986 996 or go on Twitter, drop your message 0549 on WhatsApp, on Twitter, beg your pardons, at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973 using the hashtag City Newsroom. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And the breaking news coming through from the court is that Gregory Afoko would have to be retried on the murder charges against Adams Mahama, the former and late Upper East Regional Chairman of the NPP. But one other person has been sentenced to death. Hansen Ajiman is our correspondent in the courts. He's joining me on the line. Hansen, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Tell us what more the court has been saying.
So basically, the two accused persons here, Gregory Afoko and Asaki Alangdi, have been on trial for counts of murder and for conspiracy to commit murder. The trial has been ongoing for about 3 years now since Asaki Alangdi was arrested following police manhunt for him. The judge sitting on the case today did the summing today and gave room for the jury to deliberate and bring their verdict. The news here is that the jury, when it comes to Gregory Afoko, came out with a 4-3 verdict that Gregory Afoko is not guilty. So 4 persons voted that Gregory Afoko is not guilty for murder, neither is he guilty for conspiracy to commit murder. And 3 persons voted that he is guilty for murder and also guilty for conspiracy to commit murder. Now, based on this decision by the jury, the judge said this is a hung jury, and as a result of that, he has to order for a retrial in this particular case. So that is the news for Gregory Afoko, who has been on trial for about 6 to 7 years now on this particular matter. There's been a hung jury. There's not been a unanimous decision as far as this matter is concerned. So on his part, there'll have to be a retrial on both counts, that's the charge on murder and the charge on conspiracy to commit murder. Now, the second accused person, Asaki Alangdi, the jury was unanimous on the charge for conspiracy to commit murder. The jury was unanimous on the charge on conspiracy to commit murder. However, they returned a verdict of 4-3 that he was not guilty on the charge of murder. And so when it comes to the main offense, which was murder, the jury, it was a hung jury, just in the same as Afoko. However, when it comes to the other offense, which was a conspiracy to commit murder, the jury was unanimous that he conspired to commit murder. Now, Sanda, the catch here is that conspiracy to commit murder is one of the offenses termed as inchoate offenses. And when somebody is found guilty for conspiracy to commit murder, the punishment is that you'll be punished as though you committed the offense. And the punishment for the offense of murder is death. And so even though the jury did not return a verdict of guilty in the charge of murder, by virtue of returning with a verdict of guilty in the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, the judge is mandated to give a sentence as though he had committed murder. And reason the judge sentenced him to death by hanging. And so that is the sentence for Asaki Alandi, the second accused person in this case.
What that means is that everything in relation to Afoko's trial would start from scratch, or there's a point that it would be continued from. What have you gathered from the court?
So what this means is that everything will start from scratch. And so they will go through the entire process again of a murder trial and a conspiracy to commit murder, where the state again will be asked to come out with its witnesses of the jury selection. The state will come out with its witnesses. In this particular trial, 16 witnesses were called by the state. And so when the jury, the state calls its witnesses, Afoko will then also now be asked to make his defense, and then he will have to call his own witnesses as well, if we get that far. And so that is what it means basically, that Afoko, having been through the trial process for 6 to 7 years, and the jury returning a hung verdict, the trial would have to start again.
Very well. Do we know what the reaction of the two parties have been?
Well, on the side of Asaki, after the judge gave out the verdict, read out the verdict of the jury, he exclaimed in court, and these were his exact words: "My Lord, I haven't done anything, and I'm pleading with the court." Now, lawyers for the accused person tried as much as possible to pray with the court in coming out with the sentence, to consider that this is that Asaki is a first-time offender, and that certain circumstances should be taken into consideration before the verdict is given. But the state prosecutor came out with the argument that if you look at Section 24 of Act 29, which is the Criminal Offences Act, it is clear that the punishment for conspiracy to commit an offense is a punishment for the same of as though you committed the same offense, as I've explained earlier. And the judge, in giving out the sentence, indicated that this is a decision that has been made by the jury, which she is bound by law to go in accordance with it. So she couldn't have done anything despite the plea from the second accused person and his lawyer.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Hansen Ajiman is our correspondent in the court. Let's go to Upper East Regional Capital, Bolga, and speak to our correspondent there, Fred Awuni. He recalls and will be giving us a background to this story in case you are not sure what discussion we are having. Fred, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Remind our listeners again of what happened with Adams Mahama and how Paul Afoko and Alandi have been standing trial over that death?
Thank you very much, Sanda. So this happened sometime in May 2015, and preceding the untimely death of the NPP Upper East Regional Chairman Alhaji Adams Mahama, there was a meeting organized by the late national chairman of the party then, Paul Afuku, and the then general secretary, Kobne Japon, and that in this scheduled meeting that was supposed to be held in the Upper East region, the regional chairman, who was then the late Alhaji Adams Mahama, was not informed of the meeting to be held in the region. And so my sources reveal that even at a time where the two gentlemen were coming into the region, late Mahama Adams was at the airport and they met at the airport, but the discussion in respect of the two national executives coming to his region to hold some of these meetings were not privy to the late chairman. And so when the chairman then got to Accra and was told by some of his boys that the national chairman and the secretary, that Paul Afoko and Kobene Japon, were in the region and scheduling a meeting at Azom Solum Hotel in Bogatanga, he was concerned and took a flight from Accra back to the Upper East region. At the time, some supporters of the chairman had gone to Azon Solom Hotel to disrupt the set meeting scheduled by the two executives or national executives of the party. And that matter was reported to the Bogatanga District Police Command and later to the regional command. And so these meetings couldn't come on, and so the two gentlemen had to leave back for Accra. Now, a few days later, exactly on the 20th of May 2015, that was on Wednesday, the party chairman then, Alhaji Adams Mahama, was returning from his construction site, which is around the Ekti Hotel area. He has a construction site there. So he was returning to his house from the site in the night, around 11 p.m., where two persons suspected to be Gregory Afoko and Alamdi, yes, confronted him. And these are people he already know. They are party people. He has a good relationship with them. So they stopped him halfway to his house, and he rolled down his glass, and the allegation was that they poured acid or substances believed to be acid on the chairman, and immediately he was rushed to the Bogatanga the Upper East Regional Hospital on the 20th of May 2015. Now, he was at the intensive care unit, and doctors were trying to manage the situation so that he could be transferred to a tertiary hospital. And unfortunately, on the 21st of May 2015, he passed on at the the Upper East Regional Hospital. And since then, the two suspects, Asikba Alandi and Gregory Afoko, who hail from Bogatanga and Sandema in the Busa North, respectively, were arrested and charged for conspiracy to commit murder and murder.
I see. And how has the party reacted, if you recall, during those days? How the reaction has been, the family and all of that?
Well, some executives, regional executives, were accused of conspiring with the national executive to have scheduled certain meetings without the knowledge or notice of the regional chairman. And so there was this factions among the executives. Some even were prevented from appearing at the final funeral rites and the burial of late Adam. It was that a difficult situation with the allegations that some of the executives were part of whatever happened, and they didn't want them at his funeral and even burial. But with time, they were able to resolve these matters.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us. As Fred Awuni, he's our correspondent in the Upper East region, just giving us a memory and going down memory lane. The story was published on citiFmonline.com at the time. said confirmed NPP Upper East chairman dead after acid attack. This was May 21, 2015. The story says, and I read, the Upper East chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Mahama Adams, who was attacked with acid, has died from his injuries at the Bolgatanga Regional Hospital where he was receiving treatment. His death was confirmed by his relative and son of the late Alhaji Aliu Mahama, Farouk Mahama. Speaking on the City Breakfast Show, Farouk Mahama said, quote, I'm with a heavy heart this morning. Adams, our only surviving hope in the family, is gone, and we are very sad and we are in shock, unquote. He said it is rather unfortunate that his uncle's life ended over politics. He started a quote here which says, everybody enters politics with a notion. Adams was not a politician, he was a businessman, and because of his closeness to Aliu Mahama, when he died, Adams Mahama decided to enter politics to reincarnate the image of Aliu Mahama, unquote. Farouk Mahama narrated that he received a call in the early hours of Thursday that acid had been poured on his uncle who was in the vehicle with his wife. Quote, then this morning, as of 9:30, I had a phone call from a boy who was by him at the bedside to confirm that Adams is no more, unquote. Mahama Adam was attacked by two unidentified men on Wednesday while was returning from work. The chairman's aide, Zakaria Osman, said Mahama Adams suffered several burns on his body. The Upper East Regional Police PRO, Thomas Agbanyo, told City News that the other persons who allegedly took part in the crime are on the run. He explained that the police are withholding the name of the person arrested for security reasons until his accomplice was arrested. So that's way before the two persons were put on trial. That's a story by Gordon Akwete on cityfmonline.com somewhere in 2015. But subsequent to that, the two persons, Mahama Gregory Afoko and Alande, were put on trial. And today, the news that is coming from the court is that in the case of Alande, the court has decided that he ought to be, he has to be sentenced to death. So he has been sentenced to death. That is what has come through for Alande. In the case of Gregory Afoko, the court has not made a determination. We are told it's going to be a retrial because the jury returned with a verdict of 4-3, and per the law, we are told that that would mean a retrial because a verdict has not been returned properly so called. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We'll be back with more. Please be with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies here improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu here with Akosua, Otchere. We are broadcasting from number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. Let's talk about Professor Frimpong Boateng. It's been making the headlines since last week or 2 weeks ago after a report that he authored, which was sent to the presidency, became public document. Excerpts of it have been denied and challenged and questioned. He himself has been defending his work. Tonight, we are focusing on page 29 of his report. I'm going to read a paragraph in there, and then we'll do a discussion on it. It says the impunity in the eastern region is exemplified by near unbelievable activity in Chibi. I had a telephone call from Mr. Eric Entry of the Office of the President, and he narrated that the youth organizer of the MPP in Chibi was excavating for gold in a field close to the house of His Excellency the President of the Republic. When we checked, it was true. Indeed, part of the garden of the president had been affected. Apparently, the president did not know about this. We quickly dispatched a bulldozer and an excavator to the area to reclaim the land and vegetate it. I need not say that nothing happened to the local youth organizer who caused the damage. Now, following from this, today there was something that happened in Chibi. Our correspondent at the presidency, Sami Yafi. Sami, you're part of journalists who went to Chibi today.
Yes, we left this morning.
Organized by who, for what purpose?
So the Presidential Press Corps made a request to the Communications Directorate of the Office of the President that we want to visit Chibi as our job as journalists to verify this particular claims made by Professor Contempt in his report. And the Communications Directorate through the President granted us that permission to go to the President's house in Chibi to go and find out or do this verification that we sought with regards to this particular report from Professor Contempt.
Okay, so when you went, what did you see?
Okay, so the President's house sits on a 4-acre, a 4-plot or 1-acre environment where there's a main house and then there's a garden, a very big garden, as you would say. So there is an old structure. It's not a new structure. It's an old structure. So the caretaker of the house, who's been there for the past 31 years, told us that that particular house belongs to President Akufo's mom. But then he renovated it and lived there after the demise of his mom. So that's where he lives anytime he comes to Chibi. So it's more or less become like his official house. It explains the same thing as happened in Nima, which was his dad's house, and then later it became his property. So it's a flat house. It's not a story, but it's a flat house, an old structure, but renovated to make it look a bit new. There's two summer huts, one on the left, one on the right. There is a police post because it's the president house. There's always 24/7 security within their premises. And then you could see palm trees and big trees within this particular compound. And a big garden, very green vegetated garden within that particular compound. So we spoke to the head of security within that particular house. And then we asked that this report that Galamsey activity took place around the president house that nearly caused or which collapsed the president's fence wall and even destroyed the garden. Does such a thing ever happen? And he denied vehemently that he's been there for the past 8 years as a security, one of the security guys in the house. He's never seen such a thing happen, even around the president's house. So it came to them really as a surprise when they heard that in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report that Galamsey activities took place close to the president's house, broke his wall, and even affected his garden. So we also put to him that, okay, it might happen because this report was in 2021. So perhaps you might have done some reclamation or sort of. And he denied that there's no way even bulldozer or even an excavator can have access to that particular area. Because if an excavator is working within that area, it means it must destroy the roads which are all asphalted within the Chibi area. And in that particular area, it would have been destroyed. And these roads, according to the caretaker, was built in 2020. So if a Galamsey should take place within that particular area, the roads are going to be destroyed. So we went to check to this particular area they were talking about. The roads are still intact. The land is intact. And Sanda is a space where it will be difficult for even an excavator to have access to this particular space as reported in the report.
Now, if the words of Professor Frimpong Boateng are to be taken seriously, he said they sent a bulldozer and excavator and they reclaimed or revegetated the land. Revegetation means they would have gone to cover the pits and then plant trees on it. Now, if after 2 years or 3 years, these trees would have grown, did you get a sense that the trees that were there are new or old trees? Because if they are old, then you could say these were not cut down and new ones planted, which have since grown. Maybe if you see younger trees, then you could say, oh, they look like, what did you see?
These are old trees. You could tell these are very, very old trees. The palm nut tree there looks very old with deep roots within the soil. So it's not a plant that you see was built recently or just some 2 years or 3 years ago.
But you saw the garden.
We saw the garden. We entered the main house.
Everything is intact.
Everything is intact. The walls are, the fence walls are there. There's nothing really you could see that could tell that Galamsey ever took place within this area.
Did you go outside the president's house to speak to residents or traditional rulers or assembly members, anybody else of interest that you spoke to?
Yes, we did. Sanda, as journalists, you need to verify some of these things from the local people on the ground. So after speaking to the people in the house, we went outside the house to also go and speak to the president's neighbors, as we will put it. So these are people who live very close to the house. So we asked them that, fine, if the people in the house are saying Galamsey didn't take place, perhaps you live outside the house. So you might have seen activities of Galamseyers or even the movement of excavators or bulldozers within this area. And they said no, they never saw or they've never seen such a thing within that particular area. We can listen to some of them.
Okay, so as you can see, do you see any evidence of a bulldozer having done that some time ago? As you can see, there is nothing of that sort that has taken place here. So we are astonished by that part, especially of the report, because we stay in this area and we know that what the professor is talking about is nothing but palpable falsehood.
We are all from this place, okay? And my house is just nearby the president house. So always we used to patronize here. And then nothing is going on like that. Look around. Always, because the president said we have to watch that some people have been doing all these things around this, our forest, everything. Do you understand? Yes. So we used to be watching all these things. So the back of his house, and people are saying that, or his own house, that people are digging there for a gold. It doesn't speak well of those people who are saying that. For the professor, I don't know. Maybe once they have quit him from where he is, that's what maybe he's trying to be, it has been baffled him. That's why maybe he's doing that. You see, it's not fair to be as a big man or older person like that to speak like that. It doesn't go like that. It's very bad that you want to disgrace the president.
So those are neighbors of Nana Akosua, the president, before he became president.
Yes.
So they are saying they didn't see any such thing.
No.
Who else did you interact with?
So after our interaction with the neighbors, we decided to go and find out from the traditional authorities within the Chibi area, if indeed, because a lot of time they say that Galamsey only comes to an area when they have the blessing of the chiefs. So we went to speak to the Chibi Traditional Council, which is headed by Osabe Mafo Kwabnabiri, who happens to be the chief of Chibi in that area. So we also went to enact that, Nana, this is what we've heard, and we've come here to verify. What do you make of these allegations?
We have joined you to witness the whole thing, that there's nothing like that here. And that's why I'm here with Chibi Executive, who is the body of Otchere in the cabinet. So all these members are here, Chibi people, and they are Chibi Executive. Otchere is not here. And so far as I'm here, as son of Otchere, I have to join you. And President is my nephew, traditionally. So I have to be with you and clear his name. So we wish we'll go around with you, all the corners, and make sure you take every picture of the president house. Then you show it to the whole world that what Professor Frimpong say is wrong. It's totally wrong. There's nothing like that. So we will publish the whole thing. So that's here. I'm here with you to make this allegation as it's a wrong allegation. So we'll go around and we'll make everything clear. Then we'll publish the whole thing.
But how does the traditional authority feel about it? Your son, the president, is being dragged into this, situation.
We are very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable, especially the Chibi and then the tradition. We are very uncomfortable. It's unprecedented It's very, very bad that a man who has struggled for almost 45 years to build his name, and now, as he's about to leave the presidency, they are trying to destroy him. It's very, very bad. It's very, very bad. And very, very bad. And it goes against the throne. The man has built his name. He has built himself. And with this little thing, the man he has helped you, and now you are destroying him. What is that? All the people that he has helped them, they are trying to destroy his reputation. And that's wrong. So we are here to make sure that we go rounds with you. And all the corners, we check that if there's any hole or anything here, then we publish it into the whole world. For the whole world to see that the man is decent and clean.
So if you are exonerating the president, will you be making any demand from Professor Rimpo Boateng?
And then he should come here and show you where he saw it that he come and show you where he was doing that galamsey. You should come here and prove to us and prove to the whole world and prove to the whole world my nephew is out of that thing. You should come here. We will come here and you come and see the whole thing. We need Professor Rimpo himself to come and direct you people, all the journalists. This is the place Akosua was doing galamsey. Then he proved to us. Then he crossed our statement that all we are saying is wrong. So we wish that that man will come here and make a fair statement to the whole world. But we are here to prove to the whole world that there's nothing like that in President Resident.
Let's remind that he comes here. He won't come naturally.
But he can send somebody.
Anything the traditional council will do to drag him here.
Oh, this thing has been a political level. So we don't want to get ourselves involved. We are here because of your presence here. That's why we want to make sure we join you to clear this thing. Because we can't go into political level. But here, as you have come, we have to join you to make sure that all what you are come to do will be successful. Then you publish into the whole world. Then the whole world will see that what they are saying is wrong.
But again, illegal mining or galamsey is quite an issue across the country, Eastern region, not.
Oh, it's an issue. It's an issue.
Has the traditional authority done much?
Otchere has been fighting for it. Even me myself, we have been going around here and chase them. When we go to my palace, I will show you some of the machines we have seen. I'll show it to you. We have been doing about all these things. We are not tolerating those things. But it's only people are trying to distort facts. When we go to my house, there's a lot of machines they are using to do all this thing. Otchere has been hammer everything, every day like that. They should not entertain that kind of thing. So nobody is doing this kind of thing. But when you say people don't believe you, but because of Ghana police have become cheap, everybody is trying to destroy somebody. That's the whole thing. Yes, that's the whole thing. So I wish we would go around into the corners and you check yourself. And then from here, we'll go to Otchere Palace. Then you make sure too that there's nothing like that there. Maybe he will turn it to Otchere, another statement. So we won't, as you have wasted your fuel and come here. From here, we'll go to Otchere Palace and you do the same thing.
So that's
Osabreham Mafo Kwabrane, who happens to be the chief of Chibi.
I see, but outside the president's house, what else do you observe? Mining activities in the eastern region generally. Did you see any of the river bodies? Do you drive on any of them?
So within the Chibi, you won't see any river body. Okay. Or within the township, you won't see mining activity. But in the report we got was that the galamsey takes place outside the town. Okay. So what is the outskirts of the town? That's where you have these people do the galamsey there. And then the chief told us that for them as traditional leaders or authorities, they have one way or the other done several things or put in several efforts to stop galamsey activities within that particular traditional area. And he mentioned the personal effort by the Otchere himself to ensure that galamsey ceases within the Ibuakwa traditional area with regards to this particular activity. So, all in all, that's what we came up with.
Very well. Let's move from Chibi and go to Qatar, Doha now, where the president has written to Al Jazeera. The president is not happy about something that Al Jazeera reported, the Al Jazeera television network, in relation to him and some gold deal. What was that story?
So somewhere last week, there were media reports that the president was engaged in some gold deal and then mentioned one named Alistair Matthias, who happens to be a gold dealer. Apparently, there was a documentary aired by the Al Jazeera News Network, which saw this gold dealer, Matthias, mentioning the name of the president, that the president or was his lawyer or his law firm, one way or the other, represented him, Matthias, in court and was the legal representation of this gold dealer. So the presidency issued a letter to Al Jazeera signed by Nana Santi Bediet, who happens to be the secretary to the president, and it was written on the 25th of April to Al Jazeera. And with your permission, Sanda, I'll read portions of this particular letter. It says, I'm instructed by the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to demand formally the Al Jazeera Media Network retracts immediately and apologize for airing an inaccurate and unfair documentary that contained some unsubstantiated allegations against the President and government of Ghana. The documentary in question made baseless claims that the President acted as a lawyer for one Mr. Alistair Matthias and impugned that the President personally benefited unlawfully from an alleged $100 million state infrastructure contract purported awarded to Mr. Matthias. In his letter dated 11th of April 2023, responding to Al Jazeera's letter of 2nd April 2023, which was received on the 6th of April 2023, containing these vague and defamatory allegations, the legal counsel to the President, Mr. Ko Abeka Isuman, acting on the instructions of the President, informed Al Jazeera that the President had not been in private practice since the year 2000, and that the President had no recollection of acting as lawyer or either personally or through his law firm, Akufo-Addo Prempeh & Co., for Mr. Alistair Matthias or his company, Gold Rest Resources. In those circumstances, further and better particulars were demanded from Al Jazeera to respond adequately to the allegations made in Al Jazeera's letter. Al Jazeera was that requested to provide information on the period which the President allegedly provided legal representation to Mr. Matthias or his company. Furthermore, Al Jazeera was requested to provide details of the said $100 million tender for state infrastructure allegedly given by Mr. Matthias, which he outsourced and kept percentage in offshore accounts, as stated in the letter, as well as information on how the President personally benefited unlawfully from the alleged $100 million infrastructure deal. Al Jazeera requested or failed to provide these details as requested and went ahead with the broadcast of the documentary. At the end of the documentary, this text shows contradicting the content of the documentary. Additionally, the subject of the documentary, Mr. Alistair Matthias, denied what he said in the documentary to Al Jazeera investigative journalists. In the light of this blatant denial by Mr. Alistair Matthias and the response by Mr. Isuman, those parts of the documentary ought not to have been included in the statement. Accordingly, those parts of the documentary are malicious, defamatory, and a calculated attempt to tarnish the reputation of the President and the Republic of Ghana. The last page says that we request Al Jazeera to withdraw the documentary immediately, retract and apologize to the President and the government of Ghana for airing such unprofessional and defamatory documentary. It is imperative that you act forthwith on this request within 7 days from the date of the receipt of this letter. Please confirm receipt of this letter and your intention to take the necessary action as required. Signed, Nana Bediatu Asante, Secretary to the President. It's copied to the Investigative Journalism Directorate, Al Jazeera Media Network, P.O. Box, blah, 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 in Doha, Qatar.
Thank you so much.
Copied to the Vice President, Chief of Staff, and the Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
That's Sami Biafi, is our correspondent at the Presidency. Let's put all of these issues together now and discuss the state of our environment. Daryl Bosso is with Arocha Ghana. Arocha Ghana is involved in ensuring that our environment is properly protected. Now, Daryl is the Deputy National Director for Arocha. Daryl, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
And thank you very much, Sanda. Good evening to you.
Good evening. We started a campaign against Galamsey here on 97.3 Citi FM. Everybody joined. The government made it a campaign promise, and the government has been executed, set up a 10-minister member committee. The chairman of that committee came out with a report, which report we have been discussing for 2 weeks or so now. And it has to do with the government's own commitment to the fight against illegal mining, and for that matter, the destruction of our river bodies and our environments. From where you sit, having seen this report, would you be shocked, or it is some sort of vindication for you based on all the campaigns you've been engaging in the past?
Thank you very much, Sanda. I think, yes, we've had time to review the reports ourselves as well. And I would say that we are shocked by the level of complicity on the part of persons and government and also persons connected politically. But not really surprised to the extent that a lot of these issues that the report talks about are issues we've seen signs on the ground in many ways that we've complained about. I mean, I take a mention of the fact that we realize that when issues of persons in government are found culpable and engaging in illegality, we end up not seeing government action eventually, and sometimes the president comes even to clear these people who are found. And a particular case is also mentioned is here is the Akunta mining. Now, if you look also at the work that the Vanguard did and Operation Halt and all of that, one of the key challenges they talked about is also the fact that after they've gone to the ground, made all the arrests, confiscated equipment, we did not follow through the prosecution. And this has also been the very same issue that the report talks about. So you see that we have a law that is really punitive enough, but we don't really have a strong compliance and enforcement regime to ensure that it's deterrent enough. And that extends to people in government and people who are politically connected. So that alone tells you that a lot of the issues, even if we are doing a lot of banter on air as to whether it is true or not, everything out there tells that this is exactly what. And so we see the report as more or less trying to give us some, I would say, points of entry, more or less in terms of evidence, to tell us, look at this particular area, look at this particular person, and their work in terms of interference in the work of government. So I believe that the report has only shed light on all the issues and the challenges that the fight against Galamsey has faced. It is up to the president to have taken action, and when this report was delivered to his office in 2021.
Moving forward, the government's position is that this is a catalogue of personal complaints and observations by the former minister. Should it end there? There is a demand by one group for a bipartisan probe. Would that even come to anything? How do you think this report should be dealt with, considering that it's even 2 years old already?
Yes, I would say that it's very unfortunate for the president to say this after the report coming from a minister he's so trusted and has so much confidence in. And I think what we need to be asking the president himself is that when this report came to him, what did he do with it? I think he has so far not responded to that question. Because if you look at the way issues of how Akunta mining played out, and also how certain mining concessions continue to be given close to rivers and streams, despite the many announcements that some of these areas are red zones and no-go areas, you see that the presidency is talking a lot about his commitment, but in terms of action, there's nothing being done. And I do not agree that we should leave this report to just die and naturally, as most cases have done, particularly when it comes to mining. We need an independent entity. And I agree with the Member of Parliament for already petitioning Shire. We would have done the same, but it's good that that petition has gone. So I think that is how we should look at it. And we need to ask both parties, particularly the NDC and the MPP, because both of them have been benefiting from the mess in the system in terms of the poor compliance and the political capture of the illegal mining sector and how it is benefiting. And I think the report also did mention that. So I think we don't need to leave it to them. Let's leave the issue to try to deal with it. But I think it's also time for the president to really try and salvage any trust we ever had in him. Because I think now it's our trust and confidence in him to deliver on the promise to deal with that. I'm saying even putting his presidency on the line is very much in doubt. And I find it very difficult to believe anything they will say now in terms of their commitment to putting the first, because there are more damning regulations to come across in terms of the way mining concessions were issued out for, or permits were issued for prospecting. But if you look at the substance of what most of these companies went to do, they actually went in there to do full-scale mining. And these people should all be brought to book, and the law should take its course taking action against them. And until the government does that, we will not take their commitment very seriously.
Finally, there's a debate online over whether or not the government should even be spending money planting trees like it does every year, because we've already seen a target for this year. The Minister for Lands has said that there's a target to plant 10 million trees or so. There is a view that since we are planting the trees only to cut them down and mine, we should not even waste our resources doing that. What's your view as Arocha?
Yes, I think, Sanda, I agree with many people who have said that we shouldn't be wasting money doing this green Ghana thing. We have said time and again that this is very critical resources that the Forestry Commission needs for the men and women on the ground in the communities, in the district level, trying to protect our forest reserves. This one-day target of planting several trees in a day, we don't think is really going to achieve anything. What needs to be done is for us to protect existing forests and make sure that any further attempt to destroy these areas are halted. Now, when you see actions by the president or by the executive, even challenging its own citizens who are trying to protect rivers and water bodies across the country, in the case of cases like Akosua Forest and the issues of autonomy and all of that, then you ask yourself, do we really need to be wasting our time with it? And certainly, we don't think that this should be the case. We believe that if this money is available, they should give it to the Forestry Commission as they do, because they beef up the operational funds and allow them to be on the ground. Because a lot of these forest reserves that we say we are planting trees are outside them, are all exposed significantly, and there's farming going on in these places, illegal logging, and for some of them who are close to mining areas, we have illegal mining activities going on around them. So I think there's more to be done on the ground than what we do with all the pomp and pageantry in the city with so-called Green Ghana agenda.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Daryl Boso. He's Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Abdullah Jinapo, says he will update Ghanaians on the state of the country's forest reserves on May 2. Addressing the media at the National Youth Conference on Natural Resources and Environmental Governance, Abu Jinapo said the government and stakeholders needed to remain focused on restoring the environment to its natural state. Listen to him.
I believe that we have to be focused. We cannot allow ourselves to be distracted. We have to be focused. The measures we are putting in place and pursuing on a very sustainable basis, we have to do all we can to continue with these measures. On May 2nd, God willing, I'm leading the Forestry Commission to brief the country on the state of our forest reserves in Ghana and giving a full update to the Ghanaian people through the fourth estate, the media, for the Ghanaian people to understand what is the state of our forest reserves today, what has happened over the years, where are we, what are the measures we are putting in place, where are we heading to. We believe out of that we can get input, we can get critiques to better our policy to be able to protect the forest reserves of our country.
That's the Honourable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abdullah Jinapo. At the same forum, Francis Xavier Sosu, MP for Madina, not Adenta, beg your pardon, is not happy with how government is handling the issue of illegal mining. He says that the legislature, that's the House of Parliament, should take some drastic measures and to deal with the fight against Galamsey.
I think that the Galamsey fight has been a very disappointing one, and I think let's call a speed a speed. Government has failed the people of Ghana, especially in the wake of the revelations coming up from Professor Frimpong Boateng. Now, let me say that conferences like this and promises made by government and commitment made by government must be backed with action. Sometimes it is quite disappointing to know that government can make very beautiful commitment to, afforestation, make very beautiful commitment to protection of the environment, and yet at the blind side of all Ghanaians, they become the leaders of the environmental degradation. For me, that is duplicity, and that is hypocrisy, and that is bad faith. That is not taking the people of Ghana seriously. And so in the wake of a conference like this, where we are asking all young people to be interested in environmental governance and governance of our natural resources, and the need for all of us to call for right to, climate change, and having, let's say, more. I'll say modern approach to dealing with climate change issues and policies that deals with issues of climate change, issues of environmental degradation, issues of deforestation. It should not just be a matter of rhetoric.
That's the Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Soso. Akosua, what else do you have for our listeners?
Yes, away to education. Caterers under the school feeding program insist on their nationwide strike despite pleas from the Secretariat to return to work. Their resolve comes after the public relations officer for the school feeding secretariat, Alpha Siba, disclosed that government was collaborating with the office to ensure that the demands of caterers are being adhered. Speaking to host of the City Breakfast Show, Bernard Avle, a caterer, Helena Pia, refuted claims that the government and the Secretariat had met to or dialogued with them concerning their demands.
The problem now is not about the payment alone. As for the payment, whether it's 1,000 years, 500 years, it will come. The problem now is how much we are being paid per child. I heard Siba saying a whole lot of things as if he has come down to the cages, and yet so we are not giving them listening ears. Only 2 months ago, monies were given to them to organize programs for cages. Do you know what they did? They selected a few women organizers to a place, and they made show off that they were doing training. Where did they get the money from? Now they are saying there's no money. This same money that they should sit down and dialogue with us, district by district, region by region, they will not do. Then they will come on air and paint the whole thing blue, black. Why? Ask Kwashina, how many times has she called papers to meeting? Look, we are in it. We know what we are going through. This issue started way back 2020. We're in 2023. What is happening? What are they dialoguing? That they cannot even come to us to tell us that, oh, this is what the situation is. Yes, they go on air and be saying all sorts of things. I think the teachers are being stubborn. Please. You go to the secretariat and they say, oh, Yasiabre. This is all they do.
So I was asking, how determined are you in terms of the strike? Today is the first day of the strike. How long will it take?
From them, as long as we hear from them, they think we are kids that will control us about. Hey, go and cook. If you don't cook, you know, cooking this, they will take it out from your pay. If you know you can't cook, it's not by force. Somebody wants the job, and you are cutting it, and you are flexing. If you can't cook, put your things down. Creditors are chasing you around here and there. This week, when you sleep here, the following week, you have to go and sleep here because they know you are here. When you hear they know you are here, now you have to run to another place. Why? It's party work. Those who are driving the V8 and moving about, are they better than we, the caterers? Or because we are in the kitchen, we don't know how to read and write?
So let's still stay with this particular issue because some school feeding caterers in the northern region have defied a directive to lay down their tools, while others have complied with the nationwide action.
When we say menyankuruma strike, near my but a yen yinan ye bet me a strike no. Because Usha, Bibia moya din. And see a papa kufado say,
It is indeed true that my colleagues have embarked on a strike because things are difficult. However, not all of us can refuse to work, as pupils here depend solely on the food we cook for them. We are urging President Akufo-Addo to listen to the cry of caterers.
Say onhwe enimu maye obetimi atuma no ntum kakra maye e na katua no so emra entem kakra emmaye because ye didika it's a pan e be panacho.
Lucky Kanay's matron at the Jesut Nayili EA Basic School in the northern region. Away from that, in Shirabakujo, a popular hip life musician and owner of the NK City nightclub at Fijai Takrade has been sentenced to 30 days imprisonment by a secondary commercial high court for contempt in a case filed by 4 residents of Fijai over noise pollution from his nightclub. The court presided over by Justice Sedina Agbevama sentenced him to imprisonment following his failure to observe an interlocutory injunction directing a soundproof installation at the nightclub. Speaking to City News, counsel for the 4 Fijai plaintiffs, Pamela Avomensa, said the court sentenced the respondents in Shuraba Kojo to a term of 30 days imprisonment.
The court made interlocutory orders, for injunction, and they were to abate the noise that was emanating from their night operations. And then further, they were ordered to also soundproof the premises pending the final determination of the case. Now, they were ordered to also submit a report of the measures they have taken to soundproof the premises. They were to deposit that report at the court. We made a search and realized that they have not submitted their report on any measures that they have taken to, they were not making any attempt to soundproof the place. And we also had video evidence, recordings of the noise levels coming from the premises that has not been abated.
Pamela Avomensa is counsel for the 4 Fijai plaintiffs in the Western region.
Yes, Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. It's now the time for business news from Citi FM and Citi TV. Michael Ogodu is in studio to bring us the latest headlines from our portal. And then there will be no point blank tonight because, again, we have a big EPL game coming up tonight. My own Manchester United is coming against, is that the Presence Club? Tottenham Hotspur. I think, yes. The Presence supports Tottenham, I think. Something like that, yeah. So that's coming up. And the City Sports team will be here to bring you commentary on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. I did this with Akosua, Otchere. Production by Beverly London, Governor Wilson, with technical support from Daniel Squashy and new media support from Edwin Kwakofi. We return tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies DA improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eid Mubarak, breaking the fast. So take what you need fast from Toshiba and Media and Toshiba Eid Mubarak promotion.
Assalamu alaikum, assalam.
599 Ghana cedis is for a Toshiba standing fan forever. 849 Ghana cedis at Toshiba microwave. Get a Media tabletop fridge, 1,999. It is necessary. At Toshiba Fridge, this Eid Mubarak will take care of your friends and family and cool everybody down. Media chest freezer, top low 4-burner gas stove, grill, and solo microwave. Your top class Toshiba and Media showing love this Eid Mubarak. Call 0242 439 437. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. It is powered by citibusinessnews.com. My name is Michael Obodu. Let's settle for the details now. The Ghana Cocoa Board has debunked comments by former President John Dramani Mahama that Ghana's cocoa sector is collapsing. According to Cocoa Board, such statements are misleading and detrimental to a vital sector like cocoa, which forms the foundation of Ghana's economy. It will be recalled that the former president, while touring the Western North region, noted that the producer price and mismanagement have collapsed the cocoa sector. But Cocoa Board in a statement explained that the former president's claim regarding the increase in cocoa producer prices every year during his administration is inaccurate, since the records available point to the opposite. The statement further noted that though Galamsey operations pose a significant danger to our nation and has the potential to negate all the investments made by the government, Cocoa Board will continue to invest in interventions which will ensure the sustenance and the growth of the industry. Away from that, the Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Selom Adadevo, says his outfit is committed to building network resilience by investing about $1 billion into its 2025 ambitious target. This, he explains, is to ensure customers experience optimized and excellent telecommunication service. Speaking at the MTN Media and Stakeholders Forum in Accra, Selom Adadevo assured of placing the consumer at the center of its service delivery.
In 2021, as part of our 25th anniversary, we committed to invest $1 billion over 5 years in our network. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, in 2013, 2014, I wasn't at MTN, but MTN was going through a bad patch in terms of its network. And despite all of that, customers were loyal and customers were patient because they believed, just like MTN believed, in this country and continue to invest even when things were very tough. We're going through a very tough time, but our commitment to continue to invest has never been in question. And we're on track to invest the $1 billion by 2025. In fact, I should say we're not on track because we're actually ahead of our schedule. Between 2021 and 2023, we would have invested over $650 million in our network. And we'll have 2 years left, 2024, 2025. So we will exceed the $1 billion investment by about $200 to $300 million at the minimum over the next 2 to 3 years while we come out of the current economic challenges. Be assured of MTN's continued investment and commitment to the market.
You heard the Selom Adadevo, the CEO of MTN Ghana. Businesses have been encouraged to actively source products within the continent to address the forex challenge in the country. Demand for forex is a major concern in the country, a situation that is further highlighted in a recent 2023 International Monetary Fund Regional Economic Outlook report, which revealed that Ghana's net international reserves are expected to end in 2023 at approximately 3 weeks of import cover. CEO of Abanga Farms, Thomas Abanga, stated that the situation can be averted by ensuring a reduction in the demand for forex by importing most of our products from African countries and transacting in our local currency.
In the next 10 years, there are two critical things that the world will need from Africa. Number one, food, because we have 65% of the world arable land. Number two, the population below 30% is in Africa. So that's human capital. So I think the only thing is having the architecture for trade movement among our people and then removing the barriers. For instance, it is easy for a Nigerian or Namibian to come to Ghana and do shopping without being encountering with the US dollars and all that kind of stuff. But for you to ship things or get things from Europe and other countries, it's very cumbersome. And as you will agree with me, the Ukrainian war is now a testament to that. That is now giving us the opportunity to converge so that we can trade among ourselves. So I think trading among ourselves, it is the best way to go. Apart from just the political independence, we also need the economic independence.
That was CEO of Abanga Farms, Thomas Abanga. The Group Chief Executive Officer of Old Mutual Ghana, Tavona Bisa, is assuring Ghanaians of effectively meeting their personal and corporate insurance needs in the coming years as the company marks its 10th anniversary in the country. Speaking at an event to celebrate its decade of existence, he indicated that the company keeps frequent contacts with its clients in a bid not to miss out on their needs.
What people benefit from our insurance company that they don't necessarily benefit from other companies is, number one, our focus to the customer. Our products are designed such that they actually offer good value to customers. When a customer has been with us for a particular amount of time, they can really see the value that they've gotten from us. They also receive tremendous advice that they don't necessarily get everywhere in terms of the products and services that best suit them. And like I've said, we are also always in touch with our customers and giving them and providing them solutions to meet their changing needs as their life progresses.
You have the Group Chief Executive Officer of Old Mutual Ghana, Tavona Bisa. Meanwhile, the Head of Marketing and Customer Experience at Old Mutual, Rita Boateng, called on insurance policyholders to ensure payment of their contributions to enable them enjoy full benefits.
Financial literacy in terms of insurance is quite low in Ghana. We are still below 2%. And sometimes you realize that people buy insurance and they forget that they actually have obligations to put money down for the policies that they have signed up for. In insurance, we have something we call policies either going into lapse or paying up. So what we do is that to help you, the customer, and make sure your policy does not go into lapse, and for you to forfeit what you have saved, what we do is that we make sure that whenever you have money in your accounts, because you have authorized us to make those deductions, when there is money in the account, we go in there and make those deductions. It's not just for the insurance company, but it's for you because you sign on to a policy to say when the event happens, we should pay you a certain sum of money.
That was Head of Marketing and Customer Experience at Old Mutual Ghana, Rita Boateng. Simaf Cement Ghana has launched a new brand christened Simaf Kentinka Smart Cement. The cement brand, which is grade 52.5N, is said to be the first of its kind on the Ghanaian market. Speaking on the sidelines of the launch, the company's commercial director, Joseph Kobna Abu, said the Kentinka brand is the answer to Ghana's commercial construction needs.
Has been dealing with different types of products, and cement is in different grades. The grades serve as the strength level. Now, as of now, we have up to 42.5 grades, but we think that development goes with higher structures in Ghana. So SIMAF have developed higher grades, which is 52.5. And that is going to meet the needs of the construction work. Those who need higher structures to develop, special bridges, high-rise and construction works. So we are targeting this area so that they can do their work and get results quicker and at a cheaper cost comparatively.
That was Commercial Director at Simaf Cement Ghana, Joseph Kobena Abu. That's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. It was powered by your most comprehensive business website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.
City News. We speak.